Welcome to Proportional Relationships, Lesson 2, page 3. Today we're going to use ratios and rates to help us answer some of the word problems. Woohoo! Everybody's favorite word problems. Actually, the wonderful thing about word problems is they really are real-life situations that we are confronted with daily, and this entire unit can be used to solve many, many problems, particularly with cross multiplication or setting up a proportion. So that's what we're going to do for several of the problems today. So let's see what they ask us to do. They ask us to answer the following questions and to be sure to justify your response. So we'll back up our response or justify it with math. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to read through the problem, and I will let you know that it's really all about the details. So we want to highlight or circle or whatever we need to do in order to understand the details that they're giving. And we're going to pay close attention to what the question is that we're being asked to find. So number 1 says, at the ice cream shop, there are 14 shakes sold for every 6 malts. What is the ratio of malts to shakes? So first of all, let's kind of highlight what's important information we're given. So we've been told that there's 14 shakes. So if we write the number 14, it's all about the shakes. And then 6 malts. So if we use the number 6, it's regarding the malts. So the question they're asking us is, what is the ratio of the malts to the shakes? So remember that order is very important. They mentioned in the question that they want us to talk about the malts. That's what we're given first. And then the shakes. So if we look at what was given, the malts, the number 6 goes with malts. And the shakes, the number 14 goes with shakes. So we're writing a ratio, a comparison of 6 malts to 14 shakes. But you may have noticed that both of these numbers are even. And if they're even numbers, they're divisible by 2. And we get 3/7. As we look at 3/7, that's as reduced as we can get it. So the comparison, the best way to write this ratio would be 3 malts compared to 7 shakes. So our next problem, it says 8 out of 10 dentists prefer Crest toothpaste. What is the ratio of the dentists who do not prefer Crest to those who do? So this one's a little bit tricky. We're going to have to really pay attention to those details. So first, let's highlight what information they gave us. They mentioned that 8 out of 10 dentists prefer, and I'd like to circle that word prefer. They prefer Crest toothpaste. And they want us to write a ratio. What ratio of dentists do not prefer Crest compared to those who do prefer Crest? So I'm going to go ahead and label that they ask us to write the dentists that do not prefer Crest compared to those who do prefer Crest. So looking at this ratio, we're given information from the beginning that 8 out of 10 prefer Crest. So that one goes on the bottom, even though they gave us that information first, followed by how many do not. Well, they didn't really give us that information. We're going to have to find that information. So if they surveyed 10 dentists minus the 8 that do prefer Crest, then that must mean that 2 out of the 10 did not or do not. So our ratio is 2 out of 8. And again, since these are even numbers, that means they are divisible or can be divided by 2, giving us 1/4. So 1 dentist does not like Crest compared to 4 that do. Let's now look at problem number 3. An animal shelter currently only has 30 dogs and 20 cats. What is the ratio of cats to animals? So I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. All right. Well, this problem, once again, a little bit tricky the way they worded it. They're asking us to compare cats, that's what they mentioned first, to animals. And dogs and cats are animals, so that's asking for a total. Let's look up what they gave us for cats. They mentioned 20. And the total number of animals, we would have to add the 20 cats plus the 30 dogs for a total of 50 animals that are in the shelter. And you can probably already tell that you can divide both of these by 10, and that's a pretty good indication when they both end in a 0. That's a divisibility law. It says if it ends in a 0, it's divisible by 10, and that would leave us with 2/5, or 2 out of 5. Moving on to the next one. Let's read through it. Number 4. Folgers coffee is priced at $12.88 for 80 cups of coffee. And Seattle's Best is priced at $9 for 50 cups. Which brand is the better value for each cup? I love these better brand or better buy problems because I use it quite frequently when I'm shopping. If I'm trying to get the most for my money, sometimes something might look like it's more expensive, yet you get more items, or you might get more per ounce. Even if you're paying more, you're getting more value for your dollar. So I'm going to expand this, because we need more room to write on this one. So let's start out with 2 bits of information. First of all, they mentioned Folgers coffee, and they gave us information of $12.88 for 80 cups. Then they mentioned Seattle's Best, which is priced at $9 for 50 cups. So I have 2 bits of information. And the final question, they want to know, which is the better value, meaning which costs less per cup. That's what they're asking us. So let's start with Folgers. And I like to label what I'm talking about when I'm creating this. So they mentioned that it's $12.88 for 80 cups. So we're talking money per cup. And we're going to do the same thing for Seattle's Best. So I'm just going to put Seattle. And they mentioned that it's $9 for 50 cups. So you can see we're paying more for Folgers, but receiving more cups. We're paying less for Seattle's, but getting fewer cups. So the way to compare the better value is to then take $12.88 divided by 80. That's going to give us what's called a unit price. We're going to do the same thing for Seattle's Best. So I'm going to give you a moment to pause to work on your calculator. All right, I hope you had a few minutes to work on this. When I divided 12.88 by 80, I came up with 161, or 0.161. And that certainly doesn't look like money. So when we have this kind of problem and we're dealing with money, we have to remember that this is the dollars, the dimes, and the pennies. So we're going to chop it off here, or in other words, what dot the heck? Because money deals with the hundredths place value. This one would tell this 6 to stay. So, since this is money, it's going to cost 16 cents per cup. So when we do this, we start with what we're given on top compared to what we're given on bottom. So the unit price is 16 cents per cup. If we look at Seattle's Best, if we took $9 divided by 15 cups, we get an answer of 0.18, or 0 and 18 hundredths, which is money, and money would be $0.18, and again, we're finding that per cup. So finally, we want to make sure we answer the question. They ask us which brand of coffee. So in math, we always go with what's less expensive. So Folgers gives us more value. It only costs 16 cents per cup as opposed to 18 cents for Seattle's Best. So this time I'd like you to go ahead and try problem number 5 on your own. It's similar to the problem we just did. Let's look at it, let's read through it, and then you try it on your own. All right, this says Anna can type 123 words in 3 minutes. Caroline can type 220 words in 5 minutes. Who can type the fastest? So this is asking us, once again, it's a comparison, but they're asking for us the best rate per minute. So this is similar, but instead of working with money, we're working with words and minutes. When you're done, if you want to restart this video, the answer will be there so you can check it. All right, I hope you got the same answers. It looks like Anna can type 41 words per minute. Caroline can type 44 words per minute. So the answer would be Caroline because she can type more words in 1 minute. We'll complete the rest of this sheet on the next lesson. The next 3 problems are a little bit more challenging and we'll spend a little bit more time with them. See you next lesson.